Hello, Herotaku. This is another exclusive interview. This time we have with us from Fujiyama Ichiban, Yuki, who plays Sakura Ichiban. That is the name I was given by Mr. Yamato. Am I correct? The character is Sakura Ichiban when she uses her powers?
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
that's correct. Yeah.
Uh, so I interviewed Mr. Yamato last time, and he was telling me a lot about the show. And before we get into discussing the show, could you tell us about yourself a bit? Who you are, how long you've been acting for, and how you know Mr. Yamato?
Sure. So, I'm Yuki, and I started acting. Oh gosh, I think I started acting when I was 13 when I started taking a class, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then that's how that's where I found my first talent agency, and then I just started going out and auditioning for things. It was something that I really loved to do, and I was very passionate about it. So I just decided to just keep going with it, and I'm so glad that I did, and I really love to do it. So it's great.
All right. And now you met Mr. Yamato through the agency, or did you actually know him beforehand?
I did know him before, and I got the part because I was a part of like the stage combat academy that he teaches at. And I had been taking classes, and at first it started out, I was at first an MC for the Fujiyama Ichiban live shows, and then after a while and just doing the shows around the Japanese community, he asked me if I could actually do the role of Sakura in the shows, and that's pretty much how I actually got the part, is actually doing the part in the live shows themselves.
All right. So because you knew Mr. Yamato through actually going to his dojo, correct?
Yes, yeah.
When you first met him, were you aware of his work that he did with Saban Entertainment, and were you actually a fan of the show growing up, like Mask Rider and Power Rangers?
I actually, I didn't really watch the shows at the time because I was actually, very young, and I was not a very big fan of violence, but I do remember, I don't remember watching them in the States, but I do remember when I was around 9, I did go to Japan and lived there for a year, and I do remember watching the Power Rangers. It was Harikenja at the time. I don't know how it's translated here in the States,
That
but
would be Power Rangers Ninja Storm.
yes, that one. I remember watching every single episode of Power Rangers Ninja Storm. It was like my favorite Power Rangers, and I watched every episode of that. So I do remember watching that, and just it was really one of my favorite shows that I watched as a child growing up, I guess.
Now, I'll say right now, my coworker who was trying to actually join the call, and my other coworker who interviewed Mr. Yamato previously, we actually all enjoy that series very much as well. I will admit that is one of our favorites, whether it be Ninja Storm or Hurricaneer. I enjoyed a lot, especially they used a Hurricaneer reunion in Gokaiger, which was very incredible.
Wow, I actually didn't know that. I would love to see that. I haven't really watched it yet, but would love to put that on like my bucket list of like what I want to watch.
Yeah. So that's really interesting, having that common liking for one show. When actually filming for the show or the stage shows, what are issues that you guys encountered?
Issues like technical issues, or just like
I would technical, physical issues, like when it comes to performing the stunts and stuff. Like, what are some issues you guys have?
So, I feel that the stage combat scenes are extremely difficult, especially because a lot of them we actually get choreographed on the spot, and that was actually for me very difficult because they Michi, he would teach us the choreography on the spot, and then he would be like, okay, like, just practice it for maybe 10-20 minutes and then film it. So it was I think that was very hard for me, just like going into the set not knowing, not knowing what the scene is going to be like. It would just be on paper. And we would read through it, of course, before we got onto set, but going onto set and then, actually learning everything and then doing it on that day, because it was such a low budget webisode, we had to like really learn everything on the spot, so that was really hard for me for sure.
Alright, so a lot of the stuff is usually, when coming to the show itself, it's always on the spot, you're saying, for a lot of the episodes in general?
For most of the stage combat scenes, yes, it was always like right on that day we would learn the choreography and then we would do it, and that was the same for the stunts as well. And so it was amazing. Just I would watch on the side, and I would watch some of like the stunt performances, and they would choreograph on the spot, they would perform it, and then they would catch it on tape, and then they would tape from different angles, but it was always on the spot, and that was always very amazing to see.
So there's no real difference when doing the stunts. It's more or less, if it's a stage show, it's usually the day of you practice, rather than when you're filming their webisodes, you're actually have practice like a few days in advance, correct?
So for the stage shows themselves, those were actually rehearsed. So I was very used to rehearsing, and before we would go on stage, we would practice for a few weeks, and then we would have a live show. But for the actual filming, we would actually have to learn on the spot. So yeah, it was it was very overwhelming at first, but it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from it.
All right.
Yeah.
With the mood, how is the mood on the set? Like, could you label your cast and crew as, like, say, the practical Joker? Is there like stuff like that goes on when you guys film or do the actual presentations in Japan or here in America?
Like just like playing around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, when we're offset, we have fun. Like, we're ourselves, we joke around. But once, the cameras roll, or once, we start, really actually performing, that's when we actually get, really into it, and we're much more focused. But as soon as we get offset, we're like a family, which is awesome, which is great.
All right, that's just a good question to ask, because I know a lot of casts, usually in between takes or during takes, one will actually purposely screw up just to see what the others do with reaction to, doing, ad-lib. Because,
Yeah, I feel like, sometimes, that would happen, but it rarely happens just for the safety. I feel like safety is always number one when it comes to, the stage combat fighting. So a lot of times, we don't really do a lot of improv. We usually, a lot of times, when it comes to things performing a stunt or performing, a stage combat routine on stage, a lot of times, they would actually do, the full, well, of course it's choreographed, but when we practice it, we don't, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes, we avoid actually, kicking each other or punching each other because we don't have the full armor and the full costumes yet. So at that practice stage, we don't really go full out, but once it comes to the full stage, then when we actually have the costumes on and we have our armor, that's when we actually do things like punches and kicks right into the costumes. So I think other than that, nothing's really improvised. I would say nothing changes on the spot. Yeah.
Because I know that was not a real issue, but something that I've heard discussed with other workers from Saban Entertainment was Koichi Sakamoto, and I believe another guy who worked alongside Mr. Yamato said sometimes the cast, when they were shooting, sometimes the actual shows when they worked there would actually get a little bit ad-libbed and stuff, try to improvise the fights to make them look more flashier. So I was wondering, when you guys do the shows, do you guys also try to make it a little bit flashier? Does it always come up to the mind of Mr. Yamato to decide how you guys are going to perform?
Oh, okay, so, that, we don't really quite improvise once the camera starts rolling, but if Michi choreographs something and then someone has suggestion, or someone wants to change something right on the spot, that happens, but it happens before we film it. So that's actually really interesting how they would improvise, even when the camera starts rolling. I don't think that's ever happened on our set for any of our stage combat scenes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I know since that was one thing discussed at a Power Morphicon previously, I was wondering if you guys have ever done something like that in Toho, since you work with, someone who has done tokusatsu most of his life.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's happened on our set before, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think it's happened yet. It may happen in the future, maybe, but yeah, I've never seen it happen on our set, so that's actually really interesting to hear.
Yeah. So now that we talked a bit about behind the scenes, let's go more, in the actual series itself. With your character Sakura, since we only had the 4 minisodes, what is she actually going to be like? What is she supposed to be? Can you kind of explain what the character will I guess, how will she transcend through the series?
Well, I can't give away too much, but she's very, in the series, like, she does find that Sakura Ichiban within herself, and she will transform later on. So it's really exciting how she actually observes Sun go through this experience, and now she has to go through that experience. And she's a very strong character. She's very determined, and she will do whatever it takes to help Sun and also Professor Sebastian as well as they fight against dark matter throughout the series. I can't give away too much, but I think that's something that that's really, really cool, is that, like, she gets to see it before she actually, experiences it herself.
Now, since I know you can't give away too much,
Mm-hmm.
with the series, what is her connections to everyone? Is it just that she's an other student at the place where everyone's training in the show, or is she supposed to be, like, related to somebody? Because I know we have Sun and his father, we have Mr. Yamato and Dr. Sebastian. Are you just another student that trains there?
Right, yeah. So I play Sakura. Who's actually a childhood best friend of Sun. So she's been best friends with Sun pretty much her, like, entire life. And she, trains with Tsuri Sensei along with Sun as well. So she's actually, like, his best friend.
Alright.
Because
I know people were wondering if your character was supposed to be either Mr. Yamato's character's daughter, or if she was just supposed to be another student that was brought on because she knew Sun, and that was one thing a lot of people have not been able to get yet because of the show thus far.
Yeah, she's actually just a student, so she's not, like, related to any of the characters that we know of so far.
And this was a question a friend of mine had. Are you also the voice of Emerald?
No, I'm not, actually. That's actually played by Yuki Yamagiwa, and she's actually my sister. So she's actually playing the voice of Emerald.
Okay, because a friend of mine kept saying to me that you were the actual voice of Emerald, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't see that in the credits or anything. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not true. He's like, well, it sounds like her. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually not me. I guess it may sound a little similar to my voice, but yeah, definitely not me.
All right, that was something that I kept saying, and my friend was like, "No, I'll ask that for you." I'm like, "I'll ask."
Yeah.
Now, this is a question that I actually, I'll admit here, I accidentally wrote terribly wrong when I sent it to Adam. I had to heavily edit it. It was, will the viewer actually get to see you as Sakura Ichiban in suit? Like, will there be a scene with you not wearing the helmet or, like, the visor open, like they do in most tokusatsu series? At one time, the actor gets to wear the suit while fighting on screen.
Like, actually wearing the suit without like the helmet, or without, with the visor up.
Yeah, like something to tell us that it was actually you in suit while the scene is going on.
I don't think that happens in season 1, but maybe it will happen in season 2. We'll see.
All right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm actually not sure if that will happen in our next season, but maybe it will. Maybe, maybe it'll happen to Sun as well.
So, all right, that was something that a lot of people were wondering, if the battles will progress that far where we actually get to know it's you guys and not the stunt actor. And is there anything you want to see from your character, like a personal change or or just stuff that you would like to see that hasn't been done yet without spoiling anything, possibly?
I never really thought about, what I want to see from Sakura yet. I kind of just, I feel like she's a very strong character, so I would like to see a scene with maybe just her, like, fighting with one of the Dark Matter members without any help from anyone. I think that would be really interesting, just to see, like, a strong female fighter fighting by herself. I think that would be interesting to see.
All right.
Yeah.
So, with that, I was going to say, what are some things that you personally can tell the fans that will make them want to watch this show? Like, what are some things that you can do to hype the show any further than it already has?
How to encourage people? I would, it's been so amazing because I feel like at first, like when I first read the script, I thought, oh, this is such an amazing show for children who love Power Rangers, who loves watching superhero shows. It's just great for like children. But then like I realized that there's actually like a fan base of like all ages who are interested in watching our show, and that has always been a blessing. And I feel so grateful that we have such a diverse audience watching our show, whether it be people from the Japanese community, from the community in the United States, the Japanese American community. It's been a huge blessing to know that there's just a huge diverse audience watching our show. And I, if I were to say something that would encourage people to watch it, I would say, oh gosh, that's really hard. I would say that like it's a really amazing superhero show that's not just about fighting enemies, but a show about like, friendship and family and other things that you wouldn't really see in just like a fighting scene. It's not just about fighting, which I think has been really, I don't know, just a great gift to know that it's not a show just about fighting.
Because I know Mr. Yamato said one of the things that people should be looking for is actually the connections between characters rather than the scenes that go on and how it's supposed to relate to. I think I'm trying to say it the best I can from what I can remember, but it was something about like possible change, redemption, something. Because I know he was talking about he was not trying to spoil the next season to me when he did the interview, and I was like, should I keep this in? Should I not? But he was saying something about like he gives the Rock as the since he is the I guess spiritual overlord of the show. He's like he was telling about how he's contemplating should he give the Rockmen a chance of redemption or should he give them a chance to just keep being evil? And I was sitting there like, I told you don't spoil your show, but like. So I like that he's trying to do this huge family effect because of how he's going to try to gear it towards the younger audience. Because I know originally no one knew what age range he was gearing this for. So I know family is a key of the show so far.
Yeah, when I first read it, I thought it was supposed to be for children and families, like a family show. But it's been. I didn't really expect that there was actually like a wide range of it was for all ages. Like I really didn't realize that, and so yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, I'd love to see like the relation, like as I don't know what Michi like said in his interview, but from what I'm hearing now, like I would really love to see like those relationships develop over time, and it's definitely like a show that's not just about fighting. I think that's something that we always try to keep in mind too.
The question we left off on though before the technical issue was, have you ever gotten to meet any of his coworkers or mentors over from Japan?
Yeah, I've actually I've met one. He visited the States, I believe, but I don't know if I can like actually give details about this person because, I really want to respect his privacy and such. But yeah, I have met one of his mentors and it was a great experience. He gave me great advice and it was great. Like I feel like I still remember some of the advice he gave me.
Because I know how respect is over there and deemed. It's very,
Mhm.
very upfront and kept to closed doors. Even if it's something good that person's done for you, it's very still hush hush.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah, especially when it's, someone so well known, we really want to respect them and, it's an honor to even meet them. So, respect is so important, especially in Japan, for sure.
All right. I guess the only questions are will you actually start watching more tokusatsu from working with Mr. Yamato? Like, are you interested in actually watching more of the series and getting to know the genre?
Oh yeah. It's definitely increased my interest in tokusatsu for sure. Like before I did Fujiyama, like I wasn't really exposed to a lot of the shows and like the one or I would watch the shows here and there like Power Rangers I would watch like sometimes I would watch other superheroes shows like I love watching some of the Kamen Rider stuff as well. I love watching that, but like I wasn't really interested in it until I started Fujiyama Ichiban. So definitely it has like increased my interest in it, and especially after performing at Power Rangers Morphicon this year, and then also just being exposed to more tokusatsu just from being a part of the show, like it has definitely increased my interest, and I'll definitely watch a lot of the shows like from here on out.
Okay. If given the chance, would you want to work on Saban's Power Rangers? Like, do you ever think of actually going in for an audition to be on their show, or have you already tried? Have you not?
I would love to audition. Like I've never auditioned before, but I mean, if they asked me to audition, I would love to. That would be such a huge honor. Yeah, like just thinking, or just even, I don't know. It's it feels like it would feel like a dream, to be able to do that, to even audition for such a so well known and such a great show. I would I would be honored. That would be great.
And have you ever thought of actually? I don't know how fluent your Japanese is, and I don't want to pry, but if you are very diverse with your culture, would you ever consider trying to go to Japan and try to join the actual tokusatsu there, or do you feel like you would just rather try to stay in America to flourish with that idea if you actually are very, I should say, not very, but I guess still want to continue with the genre?
I'm willing to go anywhere. I mean, whether it be Japan or here. I love the Japanese. I love the Japanese. Like, it's just it's like the shows are to me. This is just my opinion, but like the shows are like different and like they're different in really amazing ways, and I would love to be a part of the Japanese tokusatsu if they ask me to audition or if they ask me to be a part of it. That would be a huge honor as well. I never really auditioned for any Japanese show, but if they do ask me, I would love to do it. That would be another that would be like another one of my like dreams to be a part of like a Japanese show. Yeah, I think like a lot of after working on the show, just like performing in the live shows, um, just the people that I've worked with, whether it be the actors or the stuntmen and stunt woman, they're all interested in tokusatsu, and I feel like Fujiyama has definitely increased all of our interest in tokusatsu.
All right. And
Uh-huh.
we'll close up now. And the last of the two questions are: what are some words of wisdom that you can provide to aspiring actors and stunt people and people who just want to be a part of, this genre, tokusatsu, or to pursue their dreams?
Um, Words of wisdom. I'm I'm I don't know if I can give good advice, but Oh, that's a hard question for me. I would just say if you love what you do, just keep going and don't stop. And if you love to do it, it's never a job, you know. I would go perform and it would always just make me feel so happy to be on stage, so grateful to be a part of the experience that like it never felt like work to me. So if if you feel that way, whatever you guys decide to do, whether it be acting or stunts, if you love what you're doing, I would say just keep going.
I feel like Mr. Yamato tells you guys this a lot at the dojo.
Yeah. Um,
Because it seems like the same thing when I asked him, like almost word for word.
Oh yeah, I think he really, I think we're just surrounded, especially our set, where all of us are like that. Like we do it because we love it, you know? Um, Whenever we're on set, like it's even though it's so low budget, we're just and we're exhausted by the end of the day, but we just love it so much that like for us like it's not work. Like we love working together. We love being on set together, and I guess like I don't know, we work so well together on set that like we just have so much fun.
All right. Good
Yeah.
to know. And last off was, do you have social media accounts for yourself slash character where people like fans can contact you at, or are you kind of closed from your audience in a sense? Just
I actually don't have any social media accounts open at the moment, but if someone wants to contact me, they can always contact me through the Fujiyama Ichiban website or the Fujiyama Ichiban Facebook, and it will always reach me if they contact me through there. But at the moment, I actually don't have any social media or any websites at the moment.
I thank you
Mm.
for being able to join us today for this interview, and to get to somewhat know you and to get to know about the show and your character. And
Thank you so much for having me.
well, you're welcome, and I hope that you would like to join us again in a future interview when the show gets better, I guess, flourished, developed, maybe after season 1.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, like season 2 is. I don't know when it's coming, but I'm very excited for it. So yeah, I look forward to talking with you again once it happens.
From what I know, is it supposedly is back in January 2015.
Yeah.
Dates can
Yes.
change. You can
Dates can
follow
rush me.
the show on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to their YouTube channel and contact them at their actual website. This has been Yuki, who plays Sakura, and I'm Wheelchair 21, Billy Taja Doyle of Herotaku.com, and we'll see you next time.